with Mocienne Petit Jackson. I wanted to show you a very special place here. This is the old house of our queen, Julia, and she died in 2004 when I moved to Soest, where I live. This place was full with flowers. Can you see it? The Queen House. This used to be the Queen House, and people love to go inside and see it. In 2004, when our old queen, Julia, died, it was the same year that I was in court with my ex around my son Joshua. And here on the street, it was full with flowers as a memorial to her, this extraordinary queen. And her life wasn't very easy. And I remember the first time that I came to the Netherlands, and I was used seeing presidents in my life, so I had no idea what it was in king's house, queen family. I have never heard of that. So when I came to the Netherlands, it was the first time that I experienced it, and I couldn't imagine what it is to be born in prince and princesses. I had never even heard of it, so this was totally a new experience. Our second queen was Queen Beatrix. I liked her. I like her powerness. I like the way she handled her business. She saw the country as a business, and she is a mother of 3 sons. And one of the sons are now our new king, Willem Alexander. This house was his grandmother's house and his grandpa. Bernard, he was not a king, but the Prince Bernard. And when I was young in school, people educated me about that he was a very naughty boy. And I loved all the stories about him. And he also became very old. I don't remember the year he died, but he became also a very old man. So 2004, when I was in a problem with the child protection surrounding my son, this beloved woman died, and I came to live here in Soest. And there were so many people here paying their respect to Princess Juliana, because she was no longer the queen, because Queen Beatrix was queen now. So now she was Princess Juliana. And she was quite a strange, eccentric woman. And I really like it that she was eccentric and strange woman, because it reminds me that everyone can be what they are, and everyone can be what they want to be. And she was a princess and later became queen. She was still eccentric, and everyone had opinion with her. Some people said she was crazy, some people said she was nuts, some people said she was intelligent, some people said she was stupid. But for me, I didn't care. I saw a woman dealing with her life that she was lived with. And I like that, especially she was the queen when the Second War was there in the Netherlands. And her husband was very naughty. But this story reminds me that you have to deal with what you were born into. And that she died in 2004 when I lost my child because of my drug addict's ex lying to the child protection, not talking to me, not hearing a word what I was saying. I couldn't mourn the death of this woman that I've been following since I came to the Netherlands. You may say, why are you complaining about that? I felt robbed that I couldn't mourn her death. The woman I've been reading so much about, my first ever queen that I ever heard from in my life. I was so fighting for my son Joshua's well-being that I couldn't grieve that she lost her life. I believe she lived in this house till she died. I don't really know, but this was her house, the Queen's house. But she educated me when I was kidnapped that everyone had a life to live, and some people were queens, and some people had to deal with a lot of negativity. And it was up to you what to do with that. And this queen with her, what some people say, crazy ideas, strange way of thinking, she educated me to accept who you are and make the best out of your life, no matter what people said. That's what this queen, Julia, have teach me. And on school, children loved her or children hated her. But for me, she was magical, because I learned to understand that life is huge and you can be born in many ways, and there's nothing you can do about it. And this queen, she was loved and she was hated. And what she educated me is to stay strong. So they survived the Second War and they raised daughters together. I believe 4 daughters they raised together. And I had never saw a queen before in my life. Did not know what it was about. I was shocked experiencing that. I have to tell you that I was the same shocked to find out what was a king and a queen house. Like I was shocked to find out that Michael Jackson was my father, and that I was born into a world that I didn't know. Just like I didn't know these people. And so I have been reading a lot of the history of the Netherlands. And one thing that I found out as a young child is that I'm living in a very strong country with people who work hard and who try to be so civil as possible. Even they had a lot of saying and control in the slavery. Let's not forget that. But it was more ignorant that to survive than that they really realized what was going on. I wanted to stand here to let you know that I received some news from my court surrounding my kidnapping to the Netherlands. The judge have not set any date yet, and it will not be this year that I will go to court talking about me being kidnapped in the Netherlands. How did it make me feel was okay, because it will give me more time to explain to you why I wrote my book thriller, The Dark Side of the Netherlands. These people, Queen Julia, she was a very strange but loved woman. And she was her own being. And I learned that even if you are king or queen, you don't have a lot to say because the country is being run by government. And I know if she was alive today, I know she will be very sad that many children have been kidnapped and many children have been treated very wrong by the Dutch government. Because this woman, Julia, our Princess Julia, she was a very loving person. And I wanted to share that. I'm hoping with my lawsuits and my experience that I can make a fundamental change in this society, that children will no longer be kidnapped into this country. I find the Dutch government very brave, and I have to give it to them, that they have decided as country to no longer allow adoption in the way that it was, to make sure that no people are necessarily being kidnapped because of money. And I believe that the Dutch government will always remember this amazing woman, Julia, who have lived in this house and have support people's heart after the Second War. After the Second World War, she was there waving at people that we could build, that they and we could build the Netherlands again. And I still believe that because of that fundamental statement of this queen, that the Dutch government remember that we want and that we will try to be a good person, to be good people. And with that saying, I have to say, I have a lot of faith in my lawsuit against the Dutch government of kidnapping me from my home, from my place, and all the injustice that have been done to it. Because when my day in court will come, I will remind the court, I will remind the people of the court what this country is supposed to stand for. This country is supposed to stand for loyalty, love, and respect, and hard work. I will remind them of what I have educated myself to go through the history of the Netherlands. On this moment, the government is apologizing for slavery in this society that have been in the past. I think that's phenomenal and great. But I think together we have to make a new future. And the future is to forgive. And me doing this lawsuit with the Dutch government, explaining to what happened to me, I know after this lawsuit, I will forgive. Because I want to remember the goods of these people. The statues is standing there very far away. I know you cannot see it. I can see it, but I don't think you can see it. But I want to remember the good heart of these people. Prince Bernhard, he was something. I think he is the reason why I like naughty boys. Because even he was a prince, he tried to live as normal as possible. That was normal for him. I'm going to keep you updating next year surrounding my court, because I received a letter to court. My case will not be in court this year about my kidnapping by the Dutch government. I believe in all the religions, and with all the religion in the world, I'm praying that these souls of the king's house will stand next to me in getting victory of the crime this government have done to me. Because a king and a queen, they don't decide what the government do. It's separate things. And with that, I want to say thank you for following my channel. I hope you have liked it to see this amazing history of the country, of our proud king house. And to me, 2004, because of the child protection problems surrounding my child, I could not mourn her death. I couldn't, because I had to stay strong and positive and fight this horrible crime that have been done to me by the Dutch government, where I have written my book about thriller Betrayal and thriller The Dark Side Netherlands. So even though I went to so many pain, I still want to show you the beauty of this country, because there is beauty in this country. And our queen and our princess, Julia, she was one of them. She was the first ever queen that I heard of. And then her daughter, Beatrix, she did an amazing job. She did an amazing job. She did the right thing. And I feel very proud that I can show you this, my followers. This historical building of the king, of the prince and the queen's house that used to be. They no longer live here. This building have been sold, so it no longer owned by the Queen House, but it's something that will exist. Hopefully, over 100 years, it will still be standing for my grandchildren, maybe grandchildren to see. And now I'm sharing it with you. That's really amazing for me. So in silence, I want to say goodbye. That was Mocienne Petit Jackson. Thank you for following me on my channel. I'm going to show you the building just for a small moment, and then I will close my camera. Thank you.